Howdy folks, monthly update for the month of April. We're sitting here, start of May. Lions squad is getting named today. Let's go through what is potentially the most likely squad. We'll get to that in a second. We'll go through some stats and some thanks from all you fine folks. A bit about New Zealand rugby losing some money and some of the players who are on the move from their clubs. But looking back at April for just a second, folks, where are you all from? Ireland, South Africa, UK, New Zealand, and Australia. This makes 100% sense because Champions Cup's been on, Super Rugby's been on, URC's been on. These are all the participating countries. We're only kind of missing France, but France is not too far down the list as well. So welcome along to all you viewers. Biggest age group is 25 to 34-year-olds. You've just pipped the next oldest age group. To be honest, there's not that much between it. And the biggest news from April was Rico's move to Leinster, at least here on this channel, making waves both here in New Zealand and I guess over in Ireland as well, because I don't think many people really saw that one coming. So yeah, we'll see how it pans out. It's certainly going to be a fascinating one from my perspective just as a Blues fan, because Rico is a very good rugby player who cops a lot of flack for not living up to his potential in the midfield as to the previous performances we've seen him put in on the wing. But as I've mentioned before, if anyone's going to unlock Rico's potential, it might just be the coaches over there at Leinster, even if they are getting a bit of stick at the moment for that Champions Cup semi-final loss. Now, to head over to the thanks, and to thank you guys for being here, for subscribing, for liking the videos, for commenting. The community here is basically, I feel like, one of the most important parts of the channel. Getting into the comments and seeing some of the banter and information that goes on there is genuinely fantastic. So thank you all for being here. If you haven't subscribed, do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. I forget to ask most of the time, but if there's one time I'm asking, it's often during the monthly update. So if you could please, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to crack on. Be nice to crack 91,000 subscribers. That's certainly more bums on seats than we could fit into the likes of an Eden Park. But yeah, cracking along. And also a big thanks to the patrons. I will scroll their names here as we do every month during the monthly update. These kind folks help the channel stay afloat, essentially. So a big thanks to Jack and to Angus. If you want to join these fine folks, link down to Patreon down in the description. Do a few more videos for Patreon discussing the results from the recent rounds in terms of the Super Brew picks, where I went right and wrong with my picks, which are a bit of a mixed bag at times, and also some of the other kind of bits of news that have been going on. On to the Lions. The Lions will be picked by Andy Farrell today. They're going to do a live stream on YouTube for anyone who wants to check it out. I will jump on. It's like bloody almost 1 o'clock in the morning here in New Zealand when that is being shown. But I will jump on and watch it. I'll do a live stream as well. So live streaming, watching a live stream. That should be a bit of fun before I collapse into my bed. But if you want to join me for that one, I'll set up a live stream. So that should be, I don't know, it's always an interesting one. It only happens once every 4 years. So there is a time to check out a team naming. I think this is the one. But what is the team going to look like? Honestly, I've looked at countless numbers of people's squads, be it Sam Warburton, who's a pretty well-respected guy, to like rugby writer Stephen Jones, who's maybe less so. I chucked all their squads into a list and filtered them out as by like what was the kind of consensus about how the squad was going to look. And to be honest, the core of pretty much all of them is the same. It's just some of the fringe guys who get picked. Like this was the consensus, if you can call it that, based on the pundits that I saw. But I should say I took out Kalen Doris because it looks like he's not going to make it, injured, otherwise he's a shoo-in. And I took out George Martin because he's also injured and not likely going to be available. There are some other guys who are kind of nursing injuries, like Mac Hansen has picked up a knock, and like we haven't seen some of the guys like I think Xander Fagerson and Duan van der Merwe and co, Hugh Pilotu play for a while. But there are some guys who might be becoming kind of fit just in time. As I said though, the main questions, it's just an absolute piddle down. is the fringe guys, like, is it going to be Faye Wilbosa or Darcy Graham? Are they going to bring a utility like Elliot Daly? Will they take Marcus Smith as a utility? Will they take Sam Prendergast for a bit of experience? Will they take the hot shot Pollock along, or is his kind of 20 minutes of test footy not enough for him to be selected? Will they bring in a veteran like a Falatau or a Laws? You know, who's going to be the third hooker? All these kind of things are the main questions. I feel like, you know, Keenan's going to go, Lowe's going to go, Sheehan's going to go, Itoje is probably going to captain. If there's one Welshman that's going to go, it's going to be Jack Morgan. The core of the squad, I think pretty much everyone's picked mostly the same guys. It is just going to be on the fringes where there'll be talking points, but that'll be what we can really get our teeth into once Andy Farrell names his squad. I am really curious to see how he picks his starting 23, because when I've seen most people's like starting Lions 15, they tend to pick Byrne and Itoje in the second row. I'm not 100% convinced that's the second row he'll go with, because obviously those are probably two of the best form second rowers in the world, but they kind of both play similar roles. And if you look at most of the coaches around the world, they tend to go with the one kind of, for want of a better word, like the skills lock, and then they go with a big lump, like Miafu and Flamand in France, like Eben Etzebeth and whoever he's playing alongside in South Africa, like Chesim and Itoje, like McCarthy and Byrne. They don't tend to, but they can do, put two of the kind of less lumpy guys together, like France have played Flamand and Woki together at times. So it's not guaranteed. Like Tyke Byrne and Itoje have done the kind of lump role in the past, big tight headlock kind of role, but it's not really what their forte is. They don't usually start on that side of the second row. So that will be an interesting one once we get down to the actual, you know, business end of the Lions tour. But man, there's so much time between now and then that either of those guys could get injured. There could be other things going on. Byrne might play in the back row. Who knows? But it is certainly going to be a fascinating one to watch. I'm just not 100% convinced it's going to be those two guys. Especially imagine if the Aussies recruit Skelton for the Lions tour. And put him behind Tupou. Like, that's a lot of power, a lot of weight on one side of the scrum. But yeah, Lions squad. You guys let us know your thoughts. Do you reckon Pollock goes? Do you reckon Prendergast goes? These fringe picks are going to be the really kind of interesting ones. Also, if you want to grab yourself Lions Tour gear, check out the British and Irish Lions store down in the description. They've got a sale on at the moment using a kind of promo code. It was SQUAD to get a discount. I just ordered my Lions Tour jersey. I haven't bought a rugby jersey in bloody ages, but I've just ordered the Lions Tour one. It's once every 4 years, so get some kit. I look forward to comparing it to this kit from the last Lions Tour. But yeah, link down in the description to the Lions Tour, British and Irish Lions store. And yeah, check out their discounts, because if you can get it cheaper, you might as well get it cheaper just in time for the tour. Now, outside the Lions, New Zealand Rugby has posted a loss, 19, close to 20 million New Zealand dollars for the year, which is a little bit concerning because it's the third year in a row New Zealand Rugby has posted a loss. Obviously, they've been investing money, and it's not all just straight kind of cash loss, but yeah, 3 years in a row is a little bit concerning. They've been spending money on NZR Plus, which I actually did some work for last year. If you guys didn't know, I was doing like Super Rugby team naming videos on behalf of New Zealand Rugby for the NZR Plus. And it was cool because New Zealand Rugby's new site at the time, NZR Plus, was, like I mentioned, it was kind of new, and it was all full of like exclusive content, and it was free platform to get on. And they had these like interviews with players and backgrounds and where they came from, and it was quite a fascinating series. But it seems like they kind of preloaded the platform with all their launch content, and then haven't been kind of able to add that much content to keep people logging in. Like, I haven't logged into NZR Plus for ages, sad to say. So they've been investing tens of millions into that bad boy, but I'm not sure that it's quite paid off for them just yet. But obviously there's more that going on than just the NZR Plus. That's just kind of one of the things that I am more familiar with. But they also put a lot of that content on NZR Plus on YouTube as well, and it's just like, you're already on YouTube, so it just makes more sense to watch it there, I think, a lot of the time, if you do watch it. But yeah, hopefully New Zealand Rugby can turn a profit at some point in the near future. Also, some player movements. The Aussies have secured Jake Gordon for another 2 years through to the next World Cup, which is a bit of good news because they've had so many guys signing abroad recently. Iki Tau's going to Exeter, and Tom Hooper's going to Exeter, and Noah Lolasio's going to Japan, and Lonnie Gleeson's going to France. So to have a guy actually extend through is a bit of good news. So he's with the Tars for a couple more years through to the next World Cup. So that's a big old tick for the Aussies. But there's a bunch of other players moving to the top 14, like Anscombe's apparently going to Bayonne. So he's going to be leaving the UK. Montoya is going to end his time in the UK with Leicester Tigers and apparently move to the top 14, but it's not been announced which club yet. And then Menoncello, although it's been denied by Benetton, has also been linked with a move to the top 14. So, yeah, top 14 is getting some pretty big gun talent in recent times, it would seem, but they're not getting Rico. Not just yet. But yeah, folks, join us for the live stream later if you want to see the reaction to the Lions tour squad announcement. It should be a bit of an interesting one. You guys can help keep me awake as it goes past 1 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, thanks for being here. Subscribe, like I mentioned. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.